Making headlines this morning, new details are unfolding in a Minnesota pastor's murder. Plus, a community is mourning after 5 people found dead in 2 Duluth homes this week.
We have nice conditions this morning, just a little bit more on the mild side a little bit here, but we do have some chance to see some showers throughout the weekend. Your first alert forecast is up here in a second.
Live from the area's most trusted news source and the region's only First Alert weather team, this is Weekend News Now.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for waking up with us here on Weekend News Now. I'm Charles Kelly, and we have David Berga joining us in studio. We do want to welcome some new viewers from the Mankato area. We have recently expanded our coverage area across southern Minnesota. We are honored to begin developing a relationship with you as we continue to serve our longtime viewers in southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa. So we have expanded the weekend morning show. This is exciting to welcome in some of our Mankato viewers.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here this morning and for the foreseeable future, that is. If you're going to be heading out this morning, you notice there's going to be maybe a few clouds out, some high-level clouds, that is. We do have some temperatures into the 40s, at least in Rochester at our station at the moment, and it feels like 38. So those 40s, I think, a little bit near seasonal this morning, and we do have, or a little bit more mild, and we do have those temperatures feeling a little bit into the upper 30s. So it's a little bit chilly outside, and we do have those temperatures all across the region into the upper 30s and lower 40s, especially down the I-35 corridor, heading more west into Blue Earth and even into Mankato over there into the low 40s at this hour. Taking a look at radar, we do have some clouds that are making their way through our area, and just maybe a few straight raindrops there south of I-90. But if we take a little bit of a wider look at this hour, we notice there's a low pressure system way off towards Kansas. Kansas. That'll be moving all the way through Nebraska and into our region. And ahead of that, these showers we're seeing here all the way into Iowa will be working its way into our neck of the woods for later on, I think late this morning into the afternoon for today. So we do have the chance to see some isolated rainfall, I think, throughout the day and into the evening hours and well through this weekend too. For today, we'll see some showers and temperatures, I think, into the upper 40s and lower 50s across the area. So we'll have more on that rainfall chances coming up in my next forecast. So today it's going to be a little bit of a wet one out there.
All right, but definitely feeling some of those fall temperatures. So sweater, but also a rain jacket today.
Yeah, just dressing those a little bit of those layers almost.
Yes. All right. Thank you, David. Police in Angola, Africa, say the murder of Minnesota pastor Bo Schroyer was a murder for hire plot offered by his wife, Jackie Schroyer. Authorities say Schroyer was stabbed on October 25th. 3 people, 2 men, and Schroyer's wife, Jackie, were arrested, and a 4th suspect is on the run. They are detained in Angola for the crime of qualified homicide. Bo Schroyer, 44, his wife, Jackie, and their 5 children arrived in Angola in 2021 to work as missionaries in collaboration with the SIM organization. Schroyer was a member of the Lakes Area Vineyard Church in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. It is suspected that Jackie Schroyer and a family member may be behind the crime. Boy Schroyer was murdered inside his vehicle with a sharp weapon. Police say the 2 attackers simulated a robbery, killing Bo and then abandoning his body, and then they went to meet the guard, who paid them $9,000. An Owatonna man is behind bars this morning in a 50-year-old murder case. 83-year-old John Keith Miller is now facing a first-degree murder charge for the 1974 death of Mary Schlelis. Her body was found along a road in Dunn County, Wisconsin. According to court documents, investigators got a lead in the case last month when they presented Miller with the DNA evidence. They say he admitted to picking up Schlelis while she was hitchhiking in Dunn County, Wisconsin, and stabbing her to death. Dunn County Sheriff Kevin saying this arrest is satisfying following a 5-decade investigation.
This is a big deal. You know, this is something we've been working on for years and years and years, and finally to put a bow on this one and have somebody in custody for it is unbelievably satisfying as a law enforcement officer.
Miller is currently being held in Steele County Detention Center awaiting extraction to Wisconsin. The criminal complaint suggests Miller to be sentenced to life in prison. Continuing coverage this morning, as we have now learned the names of 5 people found dead in 2 Duluth homes on Thursday. Duluth police say they were initially responding to a welfare check at one of the homes when they discovered the bodies of 47-year-old Aaron Abramson and 15-year-old Jacob Nephew. Both appeared to have multiple gunshot wounds. Police say they set up a barricade at the suspect's house after identifying him as 46-year-old Anthony Nephew. In the home, they discovered 2 more bodies with apparent gunshot wounds. The victims were 45-year-old Catherine Nephew, Anthony's wife, and 7-year-old Oliver Nephew. Both Jacob and Oliver are Anthony's sons who have different moms. Anthony Nephew was also found dead with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Authorities say they are still going through evidence, including cell phone data, to establish a firm timeline. In 2021, Anthony wrote a column in the Duluth News-Tribune about mental health. In that column, he ominously wrote, "For millions of Americans, a breakdown leads to suicide or homicide before suicide." Growing vigils Friday night outside both the homes involved candles, pictures, toys, and stuffed animals left by neighbors and community members to help honor the victims. And that's not all. Friends of Aaron Abramson will be doing a memorial run for her today. Jeffrey McClure is learning more.
Today's run was really difficult because, you feel the loss of a close person that almost feels like family.
Katie Benziger is part of the Moms Run This Town group that has been gathering for morning runs in the Twin Ports for years. But this morning they were without an original member many say is the happiest person they've seen at 5 a.m.
Erin was one of the first friends a lot of us made when we moved to Duluth and joined the running group.
Aaron Abramson and her son Jacob Nephew were 2 of the 4 victims.
I think we are all just heartbroken and shocked by the situation and the news that we found out about this morning, and just cannot imagine, what that was like, for them.
2 mothers and their sons.
Life will go on through her memories and all of us showing up in the morning in the dark with a big smile like Aaron always would.
According to DPD, just a few hours later, but just 5 minutes away, Catherine Nephew and Oliver Nephew were found dead with the father, Anthony Nephew, who had shot himself.
Shocking. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking. It's not something that we hear of here in Denfeld neighborhood.
Nikki Widdett lives in the neighborhood and saw the mother and son together a lot, adding to Oliver's free toy library.
That's kind of devastating in itself. That was just something that, kind of brought the neighborhood just a little bit of joy.
The toy library now being repurposed by the community, turning it into a vigil for Oliver and his mom.
Walking past the box is just going to be, it's going to be different now. It's going to feel empty.
A community still trying to make sense of the senseless, but making sure those lost won't be forgotten.
It definitely has left a hole in all of our hearts, and just feel like we've lost a sister.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz gave a concession speech for his supporters during his return home. In his remarks, Walz thanks Vice President Harris for allowing him to be part of the campaign. He also vowed to protect his state from a Trump presidency and offered a message of unity for Minnesotans who voted for Trump.
About 1.5 million of our fellow Minnesotans voted for the other side in this election. And while there might not be a place in our state for the most extreme elements of that agenda, there should be a place in our politics for everyone to be heard.
The Harris-Walz ticket won Minnesota, but lost the national electoral vote to President-elect Donald Trump. The city of Elgin presented a referendum question on Tuesday's ballot for a new emergency service facility, a question voters ultimately said no to. The question was defeated by a difference of 36 votes. The project would have built a new EMS facility that would house the city's fire and ambulance departments, as well as emergency management. The cost of the project would have been $4.5 million. For a home valued at $250,000, it would have been a $40 to $60 tax increase per month. Elgin's mayor, Tim Borman, says there was miscommunication about the project, adding how he was disappointed with the results.
Obviously disappointed, and disappointed more for the members and the half of the city that were for it and would like to see it happen.
He says the city plans to move forward to get the project done. even after the defeat. He wouldn't go into the details, but says he does have a plan B in the event the referendum failed. Well, it is 6:10 this morning. The Minnesota Gophers are kicking off later this morning, and they're on the hunt for a win. Plus, the Blue Earth County Historical Society just turned 123 years old. We'll hear how they plan to celebrate this weekend.
Here's your KNS Allergy report for this morning. Low counts of ragweed trees, grasses, and mold, but we have the dust in the high category there. So if you're allergic, you might be a little bit on the congested side for today.
When you want to plan or predict or know right.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nick Spiliopoulos. Today, the final day of the MSHSL State Football quarterfinal round, so let's get a look at those games. In Class 5A, the Owatonna Huskies enter as the top seed in the South, and they'll play the Cretin-Durham Hall Raiders at noon from Eastview High School. In Class 3A, the reigning champs in Stewartville start their state tournament repeat quest against Holy Family at noon. That one from Totino Grace High School. And the Fairmont Cardinals also playing their quarterfinal game against Dassel Cokato from Minneapolis Washburn at 3.
Taking a look at college football in Week 11, the Iowa Hawkeyes struggled on the road last night, falling to UCLA 20-17 as the Bruins pick up their third straight win of the season. Later this morning, the Minnesota Gophers, who are on the hunt for their fifth straight victory, will take on the Rutgers at 11. That game will be on your local NBC stations. And the Iowa Hawkeyes aim to rebound after suffering their first loss of the season last week. They'll match up against the Kansas Jawkins at 2:30. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards continued to shine from beyond the arc. He made 9 three-pointers in his 37-point performance against the Blazers in Minnesota's 127-102 win last night. Minnesota will conclude their homestand tomorrow against the Heat. And the Minnesota Wild also winners last night against the Anaheim Ducks. Minnesota scored the first 3 goals of the game during the first period, and the Wild's penalty kill unit killed 16 minutes of the Ducks' power play in the 5-2 win last night. The Wild finish their 3-game road trip tomorrow in Chicago against the Blackhawks.
And now, your first alert forecast.
We are seeing some milder temperatures at this hour, and what to expect for this weekend? Well, we are going to see some isolated showers throughout the day today and even throughout tomorrow morning at least. And next week, we're going to be seeing a trend. We're going to be into the upper 40s and I think lower 50s, and we expect some more rain chances to return. At this hour, depending where you're at, we have those temperatures into the 30s into Winona, but working our way a little bit more westward across the region and into the Mankato area. We have those temperatures into the lower 40s and maybe mid 40s there, like into Mower County there, into Austin. So looking at radar, we do have some cloud coverage that's filtering in out of the south for us. And notice, this is across all the tri-state region, so all of us are seeing some type of mix of clouds and clear skies for this morning. And off towards the south there, we do notice there's some showers working throughout the area, and that's from a low pressure system that's going to be near Kansas. I'll be working through Nebraska and moving all the way towards our neck of the woods throughout this weekend, bringing us some showers ahead of it today and at least through tomorrow morning. So we'll be seeing some showers, I think, later on in Olmsted County into the early afternoon hours, that is. And for some of us down south, probably throughout the late morning hours for us. So it's taking a chance now with Future Tracker, taking a look right now. We do see our rain chances probably start to pick up here, I think, probably throughout the morning, at least with this model run here for a lot of our western counties. So maybe some light to moderate rainfall working its way around 10:30. And I think we'll continue to see some showers pick back up here around 1 o'clock this afternoon, maybe 2 o'clock throughout the region for some more isolated conditions. Could be a little bit heavy, but I do think it will be on the light to moderate side across our region. This will continue to work its way through northeast Iowa there around 4 o'clock this afternoon and definitely turn to more stray conditions around 9:30 tonight, and we'll be drying out, I think, before we get another round coming through early tomorrow morning, working its way into the west towards the I-90 portions of that corridor and throughout our region for tomorrow morning for some more showers across the tri-state area in our neck of the woods. So rainfall forecast for today, I think straight of more isolated conditions to see for those light to moderate rain showers. And through this week, we are going to be seeing another chance pick up there Wednesday as another system rolls through, possibly there again for more isolated conditions on Saturday. Any type of rainfall we're going to be seeing, I think it's going to be more or less than about 1/10 of an inch across much of our area, but maybe in the light blue here, might be pushing a little bit, maybe a little bit higher than 1/4 of an inch, but definitely I think around 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch for a lot of us across the tri-state region. And that's going to help with our drought because we are going to be in moderate conditions, and the rain we've been seeing has improved those more severe drought across our neck of the woods in southeastern Minnesota and northeast Iowa, as we do have some more severe drought, at least towards the west, just out of the Blue Earth area. So for today, we'll see those showers and those temperatures into the 40s and 50s there into Mankato. And over the next 7 days, all of our cities from Austin to Mason City will see some showers throughout this weekend and even more drier conditions throughout much of the early this week until we get to Wednesday there, as we do have some showers in the forecast for in the 50s there on Wednesday before we see some possibly there by a week from today.
I mean, it really looks like we are making up for the dry October that we were seeing. Now we're seeing a pretty wet November.
Yes, so we're going to get those grounds replenished, and then it'll be maybe a little bit of a wet one.
Yes, all right. Thank you, David. This week, the Blue Earth County Historical Society turned 123 years old. The society plans to celebrate this weekend with a look at the year's historic floods and the fate of the Rapidan Dam and Dam Store. Aaron Stuvey has the story.
November 7th is the day that the Blue Earth County Historical Society officially recognizes as the anniversary of the organization's founding in 1901. That makes Thursday the museum's 123rd birthday, and the organization has gone through some changes over the years. They started out in the Hubbard House, which the Historical Society still operates until they moved to their current location on Warren Street. The group says that despite the growth and change over the last century and a quarter, the heart remains the same.
Our mission and vision is very much still the same: collect, preserve, present the history of Blue Earth County.
To celebrate the anniversary, the Historical Society will open their doors for free all weekend, with Saturday featuring a breakdown of the Rapidan Dam. The Historical Society has long had a book detailing the construction and use of the dam, and they've invited Rick Pepper, who in early October released a photo book detailing the summer's historic dam break and the end of the dam store, which finally moved to downtown Mankato. Members of the Historical Society say that the dam was a pivotal part of local history, and they plan on preserving that the same way today as they would a century ago.
We like to say history happened yesterday. So we are collecting newspaper clippings for now, but as people find things in their home that relate to Blue Earth County, we encourage them to donate them to the Historical Society. So they're there for current generations, but also future generations.
In Mankato, I'm Aaron Stuvey.
It is 6:21. We are less than 3 months away from the Grammy Awards, and the nominations are out. Plus, a judge is rejecting Diddy's attempt to silence his victims. More on the story on the other side of the break.
KTTC weather brought to you by Ryan Windows.
Alleged victims in the Sean Diddy Combs sexual abuse case will be allowed to speak publicly. The rapper asked a court to issue a gag order forbidding them from doing so, but the judge refused. He said not all alleged victims will participate in the case, and their First Amendment rights can't be squashed. Combs is also asking to be released from jail based on new information. So far, he's been denied bail twice. Prosecutors say he posed a physical threat to witnesses and could tamper with them. Combs is pleading not guilty to sexual abuse charges and says they are, quote, absolutely false. The lawsuit are civil in nature, not criminal. Actor Tony Todd has died. That's according to multiple media sources. Todd's wife, Fatima, told the Hollywood Reporter he died at his home in Marina del Rey, California, after a long illness. Todd is best known for starring in the Candyman horror franchise, Platoon, and The Crow. He was 69 years old. New details this week. 3 people have been charged in Argentina for crimes related to the death of former One Directioner member Liam Payne. The public prosecutor's office there says a hotel employee and a suspected drug dealer are among the 3 charged. They're facing charges of abandonment of a person before death, supply and facilitation of narcotics. The 31-year-old British pop star died on October 16th after falling from the third floor of a hotel in Argentina. According to the prosecutor, the late singer had alcohol, cocaine, and prescription antidepressants in his system before his death. Toxicology analysis indicates Payne has slipped into a state of semi or total unconsciousness. The 67th Annual Grammys Award now less than 3 months away, and this year's nominations were announced Friday morning. Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande, Sabrina Carpenter, Charli XCX, and Chappell Roan are behind some of this year's biggest chart-topping albums. Beyonce stands to earn her 5th Album of the Year nod for Cowboy Carter. And the Swift is currently tied with Barbra Streisand for the most all-time nominations by a female artist for Album of the Year. She could break her own record and earn her 7th nomination for the Tortured Poets Department. The 67th Annual Grammy Awards is February 2nd in Los Angeles.
Well, for today, you're going to probably need an umbrella because we have some isolated showers out there, and we're going to continue to see the possibility of some temperatures into the upper 40s to lower 50s. So you're probably going to need that rain jacket and probably a sweater for today, along with that umbrella.
All right, thank you, David. It is 6:27. Still to come on Weekend News Now, Muslim women who work in healthcare field often face a major challenge. Plus, a couple dozen pharmacies have closed this year in Iowa, and the State Pharmacy Association is pointing fingers. We'll have more after the break.
Live from the area's most trusted news source and the region's only First Alert weather team, this is Weekend News Now.
Good Saturday morning, everyone. Thank you for staying with us here on Weekend News Now. I'm Charles Kelly. We have David Burgett joining us here, but we do want to welcome some new viewers if you are just joining. From the Mankato area, we have recently expanded our coverage across southern Minnesota, and we are honored to begin developing this relationship with all of you as we continue to serve our longtime viewers here in southeast Minnesota and North Iowa as well. And David, oh, look at that beautiful sunrise we are starting to see this morning. It's nice with this daylight savings that the sun is coming up just a little earlier now and not so much later.
No, that's right. So Lake Pepin has a really nice sunrise, but you notice there's a lot of clouds out at Lake Pepin at the moment. We're still seeing some reds pop up there, and we're seeing some more cloudier conditions there in Mankato and into Rochester with a mix of some, maybe a little bit of sunshine this morning. Temperatures at this hour, they're going to be into the 40s all across the region and the tri-state area, upper 30s there into Winona, and then we'll have those temperatures working more westward towards St. James, Mankato, into Blue Earth counties into those lower 40s as well. So we do have, looking at our radar right now, we do have a low pressure system near Dodge City that's in Kansas. That's going to be working throughout Kansas, working its way into Nebraska and into our neck of the woods throughout this weekend. Ahead of it, it's firing off some showers just east of Nebraska there into Iowa, and that's going to work its way into our region later on, I think, late this morning and into the afternoon hours for us in southeastern Minnesota and in northeast Iowa. So today we'll see the chance for some light to moderate isolated rain showers throughout the afternoon and into the evening, but I think we'll be clearing throughout the overnight hours. And before we get more rain for tomorrow morning, wind speeds will be pretty much sustained around 14 miles per hour into the lower teens today. Maybe a little bit breezy at some times, some gusts into lower 20s. So we'll see those temperatures today into the 40s and even into the 50s with some showers throughout the region. That might be a little bit on and off in some nature. So today, not too bad of an outlook, at least with those temperatures making their way into the 50s. But we do have the showers to watch out for.
All right, so we're definitely going to take our umbrella with us if we're heading out the door today or for any other kind of plans, just to be on the safe side.
Right, just have that just nearby.
All right, thank you, David. At least 22 pharmacies in Iowa have closed this year, and the State Pharmacy Association says pharmacy benefit managers are to blame. They're responsible for negotiating costs between pharmacies and insurance, among other things. The Pharmacy Association says these managers drive up prices and create unfair contracts for pharmacies, forcing them to fill prescriptions at a loss. One Eastern Iowa pharmacy owner says aside from pharmacies closing, some are reducing hours or limiting capacity to stay open.
Pharmacies are having to make some more difficult decisions, and so we're constantly right now looking at one of our pharmacies potentially converting it to a telepharmacy, just because we want to keep it in the community, and we don't think we can afford it otherwise.
The Iowa Pharmacy Association says its top priority next year is to push for pharmacy benefit manager reform. Muslim women who work in the healthcare field often face a major challenge. That is finding the proper protective equipment, but now 2 respiratory therapists from Minnesota are breaking new ground. They've invented disposable hygienic hijabs. Kristen Mitchell has the story.
Fraoli Adam and Yasmin Samatar met at St. Kate's University as first-generation students.
She didn't know yet, but I'm like, she's gonna be my best friend.
The respiratory therapists then worked at hospitals across the country, but as healthcare workers wearing hijabs, they faced challenges.
So I remember going in, and the OR room is a sterile environment. You have to keep very sterile. So having your hijab like this long all over the place is not something that's very ideal, because you're bringing infection to the room.
And they had nothing to cover their hijab.
They had a beard cover, and we looked at each other like, beard cover, like they even have beard cover, why not hijab cover? You know, we're just like, this is okay, something has to be out there.
So they set out to be the solution.
We introduce you to Mawagda's Hygienic Hijab, a patent-pending biosafe disposable hijab that is FDA compliant.
Like the diversity and inclusion is really important, you know, making sure we're already stressful, we work in a stressful environment, you know, helping other people, why not get the support? You know, it's also about infection prevention.
Since launching Mawada in 2022, they've received requests from workers and hospitals across the country and beyond.
Having the hijab there kind of tells people, like, as a Muslim woman, you're supported in this hospital, and your voice and your presence is valued, and that kind of empowers you.
Next year, they're launching a modest scrub line with skirts, dresses, and more, empowering Muslim women to feel more confident and comfortable on the job.
The hygienic hijab will provide safety and comfort for all. Created for us by us.
Muslim women are as amazing as any other woman, and I just want them to go out there and do their job, save lives.
The co-founders say their hijabs are for anyone, including patients. They've had people use them to cover their hair braids or just for extra protection around their head. It is 6:36. The month of October was to raise awareness for breast cancer, and now we're learning about a new mammogram that doctors are testing to better detect the disease.
And if you're going to be heading outdoors anytime soon this morning and throughout the day, you're going to need to keep that umbrella nearby, because we'll have the chance to see some isolated rain showers, light to moderate throughout the day, and the temperatures near season into the upper 40s and lower 50s.
Community Calendar, sponsored by Juries.
Mammograms are a key tool to detect breast cancer, but for women with dense breasts, they are harder to read. Doctors are now testing a new type of mammogram that shows promise for these women. Ann Thompson has more on the story.
Teresa Bourdonnais is a mom, businesswoman, and breast cancer survivor. She says because of the mammogram designed for women with dense breasts.
I think it probably saved me from, at a minimum, chemo, radiation, and certainly it could have progressed quickly.
She was part of a clinical trial to see if contrast-enhanced mammograms used to diagnose cancer by injecting dye into the patient could also be used to screen for cancer.
Was it any different?
No. It's the dye is a strange experience.
Mayo Clinic radiologist Dr. Bhavika Patel led the clinical trial.
And this woman is extremely dense.
On a traditional mammogram, dense breast tissue shows up white, just like cancer.
It would be comparable to trying to find a snowman in a snowstorm.
With contrast-enhanced mammography, Patel says the picture is clear. The dye eliminates the dense breast tissue and lights up a potential tumor.
This breast is this breast. Same day, same time. These images are taken seconds of one another.
In the trial, the contrast-enhanced mammograms found cancer in 14 patients.
14 cancers out of 460 people doesn't sound like a lot.
When we talk about standard mammography, we hope to find 4 per 1,000. We saw 14 per 460. It's about 5 to 6-fold more than what a standard mammogram would show.
More studies are needed before this test is approved as a screening tool, so it may not be covered by insurance. For now, women who want the test would have to find one of the medical centers that offer it and could have to pay out of pocket. But for Teresa Bourdonnais,
Do you feel like that test saved your life?
Oh, 100%.
it made all the difference.
It is 6:42 this morning. A series of racist texts targeting Black Americans. The latest with the investigation. Plus, if you're making holiday travel plans to the Big Apple, you just might want to head to Radio City Music Hall. We'll have the story behind the women.
Well, today we're going to see some light to moderate rain showers and isolated in nature throughout the day today. And you're probably going to need a lot on this checklist, including that coffee, maybe your rain jacket, and that umbrella, as we'll see those showers throughout the day and some more cloudier conditions.
It's the Veterans Day sale at Home Furniture, and everything is on.
Welcome back. If you're making holiday travels to the Big Apple, you might just want to head to the Radio City Music Hall because for nearly a century, the Rockettes have been American icons. But you don't often hear about the women behind the performances. Reporter Checky Beckford has the story of veteran Rockette Tara Tabridi.
Here in the theater, I'm in costumes and glamorous. And then I walk outside and then I'm walking to Grand Central just like everybody else.
Long Island resident Tara Tuberty has a typical New York commute.
I'm coming in from Long Island, taking that Long Island Railroad, getting my kids ready in the morning for school, budgeting in that commuting time. So yeah, like any other working parent.
But this mom of three has anything but a typical New York job. Tuberty is a Radio City Music Hall Rockette, and she's an original.
Born and raised New Yorker, growing up here in New York City, from Queens originally.
The only Rockette from New York, grew up in Whitestone, Queens.
I grew up coming to the Christmas Spectacular with my family. It was one of our holiday traditions.
A tradition that turned into a passion.
This is my 19th year here performing the Christmas Spectacular.
The veteran Rockette now lives in Oceanside and pinches herself every time she steps into the iconic theater.
I'm just so happy and proud to be a part of it.
And now it's Tuberty's kids who get to watch her perform.
And I have to remind them that not everybody's mom is a Rockette and they get to come to Radio City every year.
She and other Rockettes now prepping for another magical season of welcoming families like hers back to Radio City.
Christmas in New York is one of the most beautiful, special times. There's really no other place like it.
And now, your first alert forecast.
We have some mix of clouds and some early morning sunshine across the region at this hour. If you're just waking up, we'll wipe the crust from your eyes. We have a day ahead of us filled with a little bit of rain and some milder temperatures already. So temperatures across the region are going to be into the 40s and into the upper 30s there into Winona at this hour, working away a little bit more westward across our tri-state area. We do have those temperatures into Blue Earth and even into Mankato into the lower 40s, just at 43 degrees. So a more mild morning out there. Typically for this time of year, we're into the 20s. And looking at radar right now, we have some rainfall that'll be working its way into Iowa, into our neck of the woods throughout, I think, late this morning into the early afternoon. That's firing off from a low pressure system off towards Kansas. It'll work its way through Nebraska into our neck of the woods by tomorrow morning. So for today, we'll see a little bit, maybe some sunshine this morning before more cloud coverage throughout the region. Could be seeing maybe a few raindrops in the late morning hours before more of the bulk of it comes through this afternoon. Temperatures will be into the 40s for us. So for today and through this weekend, we expect some showers throughout the region and even some showers that'll last through tomorrow morning. And then we'll see temperatures into the 40s and 50s and the return of some rain midweek and possibly again by next weekend. So with Future Track this morning, we'll see our temperatures into the 30s and into the 40s across our area. Notice with this model run around maybe 10:30 to 11 o'clock, we could be seeing some showers throughout the I-90 corridor that worked their way through northeast Iowa. I do think those will be light in nature, maybe some moderate rainfall and some isolated pockets there. But notice around this afternoon, around 1:30 to 2 o'clock, we'll see some showers work their way throughout northeast Iowa and work northward throughout southern Minnesota, and we'll continue to see some isolated showers in that nature that respect work their way in throughout the afternoon and into the evening before we get some more stray conditions for some light rain for more of our eastern counties with this model run. And then we'll see a break throughout the overnight hours before we see some more showers work their way in out from the west towards Mankato and Faribault counties, and then we'll continue to be working their way in through tomorrow morning with some isolated showers across the region and temperatures once again into the upper 40s and lower 50s. So again, for today, we'll see the chance for some isolated showers, I think, throughout the late morning into the early afternoon, and those rain chances pick back up on Wednesday for isolated conditions, and then again on Saturday. So any type of rainfall for the next 24 to 36 hours, I think it's going to be around less than 1/4 of an inch, maybe pushing it a little bit into the blue, into northeast Iowa and west of that I-35 corridor. So I think anywhere from 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch is what we'll see in rainfall. So if today we'll see those isolated showers, maybe a little bit on and off in some nature across our 3 cities from northeast Iowa and into Mankato for today. And our 7-day forecast for Austin to Mason City to Mankato, we see those showers throughout much of Sunday there, and then we'll continue to see some drier conditions before showers return there on Wednesday, and then we'll see those temperatures into the 50s here across the region and into Rochester. So we have some more milder temperatures ahead and even some showers next week.
Definitely starting to feel more seasonal, and we'll enjoy the temperatures while we can and layer up. I think that's the key. And today, raincoat. That's something to keep in mind.
Yep, just keep that raincoat nearby.
All right, thank you, David. The FBI is investigating a string of racist text messages targeting Black Americans. College students, voters, even children have reported receiving the messages. Weekend News Now's Washington Bureau correspondent Molly Martinez joins us now with more.
The messages read, "You have been selected to pick cotton at the nearest plantation. Our executive slave catchers pick you up in a brown van. Be ready by 8 a.m. sharp." Black Americans in 20 states, including right here in Washington, D.C., say they got the texts from an unknown number. Preliminary investigations show the messages came from Text Now, an automation service headquartered in Canada. The FBI is now looking into who is behind this coordinated threat. Talaya Jones was one of the victims on the receiving end.
So first it was shock, and then I think it was more anger, not even a full 24 hours after we got the election results. So I feel like this was something that was definitely premeditated.
Trump campaign spokeswoman Carolyn Leavitt says that the campaign has, quote, nothing to do with the messages. In Washington, I'm Molly Martinez.
Continuing our election coverage now, in Minnesota, money may grow on trees or at least help trees grow. This week, voters approved to have lottery proceeds support the Environmental and Natural Resources Trust Fund for the next 25 years. For the past 25 years, about $1 billion has gone to environmental projects around the state. With this funding in the next quarter century, officials are looking to double that number. The funding will provide grants for organizations to research environmental projects. This year, there was a new measure, part of the ballot, called the Community Grants Program, which will allow smaller local organizations to apply for grants funding as well. Marcus Starr, the campaign manager of Minnesotans for Our Great Outdoors, says this will boost state tourism dollars and provide more healthy and natural resources for our communities.
When people think of what makes Minnesota, Minnesota, they think about our great outdoors. They think about lakes and parks and trails and having clean water. And this amendment does that. It really just protects and invests the things that we love about Minnesota.
And about $80 to $100 million will make up the 40% of funding from lottery proceeds each year. The Legislative Citizen Commission on Minnesota Resources Committee will then oversee that budget and distribute funds to those who apply for grants. On our website, you'll find more information on how organizations can apply for the funding. This weekend marks the opener of the Minnesota firearm deer hunting season. Here's Mankato hunters are looking forward to on the weekends full of tradition.
It's just a peaceful, relaxing, enjoyable time. Spending time in nature is great.
I go up north hunting. It's kind of a tradition for us. We go around, hang out with our friends. We go up to his property and we hunt.
Just excited to shoot a deer, get some venison on the table, and guess have some for the year.
Are you guys looking for a big buck, or do you guys want a doe?
Joe.
A doe?
No.
No.
You know what we want.
What do you want?
We like big antlers, don't
Big buck? Is that what you want? Yeah.
Yeah. Just get out with the boys, hopefully shoot a big buck, drink some beer. Yeah, just have a good time.
In some consumer news, the drop in gas prices has slowed down due to a rare November hurricane in the Gulf. According to the American Automobile Association, the national average for a gallon of gas only fell by 3 cents since last week, dropping to $3.10. Hurricane Rafael pulled away from Cuba Thursday morning after slamming into the island as a Category 3 hurricane and taking down its power grids. Today, you can play bags while supporting local families fighting childhood cancer. Today is the second annual Hitting Holes and Reaching Goals for Brighter Tomorrow's Cornhole Tournament. The family-friendly fundraiser will have raffle prizes, music, and activities for everybody, and of course, cornhole. We are once again the premier sponsor, and our Kelsey Marrier will be emceeing, helping to support the Rochester nonprofit's mission. The tournament is from 11 to 4 today at the Rochester Eagles Club, and you can register as a team or individually at the event. First, second, and third place winning teams will receive trophies and cash prizes, and you can also buy raffle tickets during the day. All money raised will directly benefit Brighter Tomorrows and the families it serves, and we have all those details on our website. All right, well, this must be my favorite day because today is National Fried Chicken Sandwich Day. And I know you like fried chicken sandwiches too. So it's believed the tasty holiday started way back in the 1930s. Then in 2019, the fried chicken sandwich gained new popularity when Popeyes came out with its version. Since then, it seems everyone has gone into the action. Multiple fast food chains will celebrate with special deals and discounts today. Most people like their fried chicken sandwiches pure, without any toppings, but obviously you can add whatever you'd like. And okay, David, so let's talk about it. Where is the best fried chicken sandwich that you would get yours from?
You know, I was just going to ask you the same thing. So I was trying to think of a place. I don't have one off the top of my head. Possibly, I like KFC's Chicken Littles, so not necessarily I go there for their entrees or whatnot anymore, maybe when I was a kid, but definitely their Chicken Littles.
I would say probably Popeyes has some really good crispy chicken sandwiches, or even the Raising Cane's, even though it's just the fingers, it's still in a sandwich, and it's got the perfect sauce on it.
I love Raising Cane's too.
That is great. Well, today, take your umbrella if you're going to head out the door.
If you're going to be getting a chicken sandwich today at a fast food joint, we'll see some showers, I think, mainly throughout the afternoon today. Maybe a few raindrops this morning, but throughout this week, we'll see temperatures into the 40s.
All right, well, you have a great rest of your weekend.